Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you've had a really restful half term in the sunshine. This is a tutorial about unseen adverts, so it's a reflection and a bit of revision about some adverts that you studied last term and a little bit more work on unseen adverts. So this is for Media Studies Paper 1 Section B. So before I go any further, just to explain, this is going to be two lessons in one video. The first lesson is going to be analysing a advert for which hopefully you're quite familiar with, the Old Spice advert. So you're going to take some notes on that, and then you're going to go away and analyse another advert, an unseen advert, for another fragrance, which I will give you. So that's the idea. But just a little revision here. So you need to have a means of taking some notes, either it's pen and paper or on a new blog post, and you need to take a few notes starting from now. So if you need to, pause the video here, go and get yourself ready, and then come back to me. So this is a quick reminder about this paper, what it entails. Section A is all about news, as you know. Section B, however, has a slightly different focus. It focuses on media language and representation only, and requires learners to consider how and why media language is used by media producers to create meaning and construct various representations of events, issues, individuals, and social groups. If you remember, it's in this section that you'll get a choice. Sorry, you won't get a choice. You'll get given two out of the three elements that you've studied. So you will be given two out of the music videos, the big issue magazine that you've studied, and adverts. So only two of those three things will be studied. So it's important that you know them all, of course, and it's important that you understand the events, issues, individuals, and social group representations within those case studies. So the questions are on advertising, and similar to they are similar in the style to those of the big issue and music videos, which you should be familiar with. There are two questions available, so 10 marks and 15 marks. It's 25 marks altogether for this section, which equates to 35% of the entire paper. And just a quick reminder that the two frameworks which are going to be analysed, media language. So remember, media language is essentially what do producers do, what tools do they use in order to get messages across. So that's camera shots, mise-en-scène, the fonts, the body language of the actors, all those things have hidden messages and you are supposed to decode them, and that's media language. And secondly, representation. So which groups are identified, what are the positive stereotypes or the negative stereotypes that are there, what conclusions can we reach about these groups. Bear in mind that there's no theory required for this particular section. We also need to recognise the cultural context and the social context. So why do we look at adverts or magazines or music videos in particular ways? Because of who we are and the way that we have been brought up and the media that we have been exposed to, specifically as in the Western world in the 21st century. So that was a long introduction, but now we need to look specifically at what we need to talk about when we're analysing an unseen advert. So let's have a look. We need to appreciate the logo, the typeface, and the font. So the letters on the page, what do they look like, and what do the fonts suggest? Now, I know you've done some work on this. Fonts aren't chosen randomly, they are chosen specifically to generate some sort of message. What message is the producer trying to submit to the audience by showing you this particular font? Also, think about the placement of each of the individual items that are on the image. So where is the product? Where is the bottle of perfume or the bottle of deodorant? How big is it? So usually it will be in the bottom right, and your eye will be drawn to that by the image in some way. Maybe it's like the leg of a celebrity or the gaze of an individual, but there'll be something that generates you to look down to the right and therefore look at the product. So that's to do with the composition. How about the color palette? So there are dominant colors in all adverts. You need to identify what those colors are and what the representations of those colors are. So if you remember back to when you looked at the Natalie Portman advert for Miss Dior, the colors were soft palettes, soft pastel colors. They had a feminine representation, which fitted quite well with the product, which was Miss Dior. So which colors are used, but also which colors stand out. So if it's a very neutral palette, if you have a big bold color, why does it stand out and what does that represent? Photo manipulation. Where has Photoshop been used? And in some cases, Photoshop is used exhaustively, like in the Old Spice campaign. In some, it's used quite intimately and quite subtly. So you need to understand, really, does it look real? And if not, why not? Why would somebody choose to make something look hyper real, super real, impossible? Is it humorous? Is it supposed to subvert convention? Whatever it might be, you need to consider why that is. Props. What is included within your advert? Whether it's a car, or a pair of sunglasses, or a swimming pool, whatever it might be, it will have a meaning to it. So whatever props that you can see within your image, what is the suggestion of those props? If you have a brand new sports car, that might suggest affluence, or independence, or excitement, any of those things. So the costume and the makeup and the body language, the mise en scène, you'll have a main character usually within your advert. What are they doing? How are they being suggested? Are they sexualized? Are they challenging male audiences? Are they challenging female audiences? Are they being alluring towards males, alluring towards females? Are all three of these things being suggested? You need to identify them and then write about them. The mode of address. How are you being addressed when you look at this advert? Is it formal? Is it informal? Does it reflect the brand? Intertextuality. Are there references to other media products? And when I say other media products, it could also be the television advert campaign for that product. So for example, the Old Spice campaign, the Smell Like a Man campaign, you can reference the TV adverts as well. That would fit in with intertextuality. So hopefully your teachers have sent you a blank copy of the Old Spice advert. This is to jog your memory of the major bits of terminology that you need to be aware of and how to analyze an advert. Now I appreciate this is a seen advert, not an unseen advert, but I'm going to try and analyze it with you in an unseen way so that you'll be able to do the same yourself next lesson. So with your blank adverts in front of you, whether that's in PowerPoint or just on a bit of paper, get ready to take some notes. So let's start off. First of all, as I said, let's talk about the logo and the typeface. So if you have a look here at the Old Spice logo and the statement here, there's two different fonts. First of all, the Old Spice font is a cursive font. It looks handwritten. If anything's handwritten, you know it's personal, so this could be a personal product for you. It also suggests elegance. If you handwrite something, you're crafting it. And that contrasts enormously to this stark sans serif impact statement here, which catches the attention. So there's two different fonts there for two very different reasons. One for a personalized, elegant reason, then the other is to sort of hit you right between the eyes and catch your attention. Okay, next, what sort of shot is being used here? Well, it's a mid shot from the chest up. So why is it a mid shot? Why is it not a long shot? Why is it an extreme close-up? Well, it's because we need to recognize that this guy is a celebrity. This is Isaiah Mustafa, if you remember. We also need to sort of see him from the chest up to show that he has broad shoulders, that he's a muscular man. But also we need to have enough space to have all of these props dotted around him as well. So this suggests an element of strength, an element of masculinity, which links in with the convention of a fragrance for a man. How about the layout and the composition? Well, it's pretty conventional here that the product is in the right bottom of the shot. That's where we'll see most shots. But if you look at the rest of this, what you'll see, as I mentioned in the previous slide, there'll be something that draws your eye towards the product. And in this case, if you take this is a big letter L here. We have Mustafa here suggests as the island, and our eye is drawn down to the right to the product. So our eye is already led back to the product just by the composition of the poster. Okay, the color palette, so there's natural colors of the Caribbean, blue sky, yellow sand, and that reinforces a tropical theme. And then the white font and then the red product stand out in contrast to those relatively natural colors. The whole image, as we can see, has been over manipulated to create this hyper real representation of Old Spice, literally blowing your mind, making you strong enough to catch a shark, making you so sexually attractive that beautiful women will sunbathe on your chest. It's a complete over representation of some pretty conventional adverts. So the props that are used, the sunbathing woman, the trees, the palm trees, the shark, they are all suggestive of the exotic, which then reflects back to the product, but also the idea that this product can help you escape to somewhere that is different from your everyday life. So the address and the way that this has been put together, Old Spice Bahamas scent comes from an antiperspirant mine in the Bahamas. This fact has not been fact-checked. This is sort of self-depreciating. It mocks the convention of other fragrance adverts. They are less likely to conform to convention, and therefore people who wear this product are less likely to conform to convention. They are humorous, they're intelligent, they're a little bit crazy perhaps, and they're exotic. That's the sort of demographic that Old Spice are aiming at here. And the mise-en-scène of the actor here, Isaiah Mustafa, so it challenges men, allures women. There's an intertextual reference to the TV advert "Smell Like a Man" with his raised eyebrow there, the fact that he's supposed to be this sort of sex god on a horse, but it's all done with a bit of it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. It's caricatured, and it sort of references the self-depreciating humor of the brand, and actually it deliberately subverts some of the conventions of other fragrances to say, look, if you're looking for that sort of thing, take a different brand. If you want something new, and exotic and fresh, try Old Spice. Hopefully that's been a recap of the advert, but moreover, this should be giving you the awareness of how to analyze a brand new advert that you haven't seen. And I'm going to give you now an advert that you haven't seen, and I would like you to analyze it in the same level of detail and annotation similar to this for this particular advert. So here it is. This is a Gucci advert. It's called Mémoire d'une odeur, or Memory of a Smell. The things that you will get given, if you get something like this in your exam, you'll be given some information. So the information that I need to tell you is that this is a unisex fragrance, so it's for both men and women. This chap here you'll probably be familiar with. This is Harry Styles. There aren't any other people that you'd probably need to know about here. But what I would like you to do is to watch the campaign video that goes along with this print advert. So hop over to YouTube, type in Harry Styles Gucci perfume, and you can go ahead and watch this 1 minute film campaign that goes along with it. Okay, so now go back to this advert. Really what I want you to focus on here is what is conventional and what is unconventional. Remember, this is for both men and women, so we're expecting there to be some subversion of some typical gender-biased stereotypes that you might find in other fragrance adverts. So I'd like you to annotate this, pop it in a blog or an email, take a picture of it, send it back to your teachers with your annotations on it. As usual, any issues, let me know. Good luck with it.